From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
President-elect Joe Biden is laying out his plans for the country and how to take on the pandemic. Now at 4:30, details on what he's proposing and how your family will be affected.
Plus, hospitals across the country are under pressure as the pandemic continues. The advice ER doctors want you to follow to help ease the burden.
And Indiana is the crossroads of America, but not all roads here are created equally. This morning, we're digging into why some areas of town may look fancier and what you can do if you want your highway beautified. Here at 4:30, I want to thank you for joining our team here on Good Morning Indiana on this Friday. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Megan Shen. Todd Clausen, thank goodness we made it to Friday, finally.
Yeah, we made it. It seemed like a long week with, the clouds to start the week, and then it turned decent with sunshine and temperatures in the 40s. And now as we head into the weekend, it's going to get pretty active once again. Temperatures are in the 30s this morning. Right now, we're still above freezing, which is good because we do have some precipitation out there. And you can see the clouds moving here, even with the dark sky this morning. Still rain showers from Richmond to Muncie. They kind of just grazed the metro area with a little bit of light rain. And this band of rain will continue to push off into Ohio. But let me show you the big picture. This is a huge storm system. The center of low pressure is here, right where Iowa meets Illinois and Wisconsin. Blizzard warnings here in parts of Iowa for the day today. But notice how we're starting to develop these snow showers in Illinois. That's what we're going to get into later on this afternoon. So this morning it's fairly quiet for us across the area with mostly cloudy skies, maybe a sprinkle or a light rain shower with temperatures that'll be in the upper 30s. But once we get to the afternoon hours, it turns windy. The snow squalls will develop across the area and the temperatures will start to fall. We'll break it all down for you in Maine weather coming up in just a few minutes. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks. Let's take a look right now at your commute. This is I-65 and 30th Street on the north side. Traffic here, as you can see, pretty quiet this morning. No delays to slow you down. Just be aware as you're traveling southbound on I-65 near this area. Maybe you're on MLK and you're trying to just get onto the interstate. We do have an exit ramp closed in that area, so just use caution and watch for construction crews. We'll continue to keep you updated, but no crashes to slow you down at this early hour. Here at 4:32, we are learning more about President-elect Joe Biden's plans to tackle the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Yesterday, he unveiled his American Rescue Plan.
Yeah, Lauren, the plan's estimated to cost $1.9 trillion. Here's what it includes: bigger stimulus checks, more aid for people who are unemployed or facing eviction, raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, and additional support for small businesses, state and local governments. It also includes increased funding for vaccinations and testing, plus more support to keep schools open.
I have to move heaven and earth to get more people vaccinated, to create more places for them to get vaccinated. We'll also do everything we can to keep our educators and students safe, to safely reopen a majority of our K-8 schools by the end of the first 100 days. That means more testing and transportation, additional cleaning and sanitizing services in those schools, protective equipment and ventilation systems in those schools.
More than 11 million doses of the coronavirus vaccine have been given to the U.S., and just over 1.3 million Americans have gotten both shots, Lauren.
And Megan, the pandemic is still strangling the U.S. economy. 965,000 Americans filing for first-time unemployment benefits last week. Back here at home, thousands of Hoosiers have lost their jobs. Nearly 14,800 people filed initial unemployment claims the week ending January 2nd. That's according to the Department of Labor. And the following week, about 4,000 more people filed first-time claims. That means that the week ended January 9th, more than 18,800 people here in Indiana filed for first-time unemployment claims. And working for you, WRTV continues to get answers to your questions about the unemployment system. A spokesperson with the Department of Workforce Development tells us that people who are eligible for payments through the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program will start getting paid by the end of this month. We're told those benefits will be retroactive to January 2nd. We, of course, will continue to stay on top of any changes. We'll bring you all those updates both on air and online.
New this morning, the CDC says there could be up to 94,000 more COVID-19 COVID-19 deaths in America over the next 3 weeks. That would be an average of nearly 4,000 deaths each day. According to the CDC tracking project, a majority of states are experiencing a record number of hospitalizations. Experts in emergency medicine say that hospitals have higher numbers of COVID patients. They're also seeing more visits from people who need COVID testing, and that's putting a strain on emergency rooms. So they want you to think about whether you really should go to the hospital or if it's better to go somewhere else like an urgent care.
Things that an urgent care can handle can be things like a sprained ankle or a sprained wrist or a pulled muscle, or even a cut or a laceration or something to that effect. Generally, an emergency department or urgent care has a very limited capacity to do just testing for COVID. So if you feel like you've been exposed or traveled recently or have other concerns, try to access one of those resources on your county's website.
Of course, you can find more information on where you can get tested for COVID locally on the WRTV News app.
Well, Indiana is seeing a slight decrease in the number of hospitalizations. You can see the chart here. And as of this morning, 2,440 Hoosiers are hospitalized either with COVID or a suspected case of the virus. It's actually the lowest number of COVID-related hospitalizations in Indiana since November 9th. Data from the Department of Health also shows that about 25% of Indiana's ICU beds and 73% of our ventilators remain available. State health officials also report 40 additional coronavirus-related deaths in Indiana. Since March, 8,830 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19, and an additional 4,411 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. Since March, 578,494 people in Indiana have tested positive for COVID-19.
Lauren, some grocery store companies are promising their workers extra cash if they get vaccinated. Instacart says it will give a $25 stipend to any workers who get the COVID vaccine, and Trader Joe's plans to pay employees for 2 hours of work for each dose of the vaccination they get. Dollar General will give 4 hours of pay up front, and CDC has recommended that grocery store workers be in phase 2 of the COVID-19 vaccine rollout.
A federal agency is investigating how Indiana schools treat students with disabilities. This comes about 5 months after WRTV Investigates introduced you to Greg and Aaron Dieg. They filed a formal complaint to get their disabled son Dylan back to in-person classes in the Hamilton Southeastern School District. In a letter issued this week, the U.S. Department of Education Office for Civil Rights says it's concerned that the Indiana DOE has failed to provide a free, appropriate public education to each qualified student with a disability. The office included a link to media coverage about the Diegs in a letter. WRTV Investigates reported last month, that the family reached a resolution with HSC and that Dylan is back to in-person learning. Dieg's attorney says that the federal investigation should send another message to other school districts. You can read more about the federal investigation by clicking on this story. It's in the WRTV News app.
A Noblesville nonprofit is working to enrich the lives of young adults with intellectual or developmental disabilities. The nonprofit is called Same As You. It opened just 1 year ago today. The founders say their goal is to provide an education and sense of community for adults with disabilities. They believe there's a lack of programming for this population after they age out of the public school system, and having a place like this provides a sense of purpose.
These students, although their lives are very different, they have the same desires and the same wants as anyone else. Disability or not, they deserve to have a bountiful life, and so that's what we are providing for them at Same As You.
Yeah. As we said, the nonprofit opened 1 year ago with only 6 students. Now it serves 26 students. We have more information about Same As You on our website at WRTV.com.
Well, in the crossroads of America, interstates come in different sizes, directions, and traffic patterns, but some in central Indiana say that roads come with a fancier feel in certain parts of town. If you ask Zach Huffman, a Southside resident, the answer is yes. He says that the north side of Indianapolis gets extra care, while other parts of town get the short end of the stick from INDOT. So we reached out about his concerns, and INDOT says that's not the case. A spokesperson says each county gives input on what kind of decor they want to see on the interstate, and Marion County opted for a standard uniform look. That's because the county has to pay for the optional decorations and maintenance. Still, Huffman says he's hoping some of the artistic beauty that marks cities like Fishers and Martinsville will make its way into Marion County.
Indianapolis is the crossroads of America. It would be amazing to see all of the overpasses, all of the city areas, especially in Marion County and here in Indianapolis, to look beautiful and have some sort of decoration to them, something that makes the city inviting, make the city look good.
DPW encourages residents to stay involved and give their input during design stages of road projects.
Looking at sports now, Indiana University's women's basketball team is celebrating a big win this morning over their rivals in West Lafayette. The 18th ranked Hoosiers cruised to an easy 66-45 victory over Purdue on Thursday at Mackey Arena. Indiana is in the lead by Grace Berger's 22 points and 7 assists. The Hoosiers have now won 3 straight games in a row, and they're back in action Thursday against Michigan State and East Lansing, Michigan.
All right, as we go throughout the course of the day today, we're going to start to get into some snow showers across parts of the area. You can see them starting to develop in Illinois. It turns pretty windy as well. The main impacts will be reduced visibility. Let's break it all down for you coming up in your WRTV Storm Team forecast.
Welcome back. The time right now is 4:43. Healthcare professionals across the state are asking Governor Holcomb to prioritize a cigarette tax increase that's set for this year. 22 organizations signed on to a letter asking lawmakers to increase the cigarette tax by $2 per pack. They say 1 in 5 adult Hoosiers smoke, giving Indiana one of the highest smoking rates in the country. Right now, Indiana ranks 41st in the country for overall health. Experts say that that's a vulnerable position, especially in the middle of this pandemic.
Somebody smokes and they are more likely to have heart disease, or they're more likely to have lung disease. And then if they get COVID on top of that, that is just devastating for them. So our population in Indiana is starting at an unhealthier baseline when they get COVID, and that has serious implications for all of us.
It has been 14 years since Indiana last raised the cigarette tax. The current rate is 99.5 cents per pack. So for the proposal, it would increase the cost to $3 per pack.
I was just, trying to fight as best I could. I remember, guys were stripping me of my gear. These are rioters, pulling my badge off my chest. They ripped my radio off my vest. Started pulling ammunition magazines from their holder on my belt. And then some guys started getting a hold of my gun, and they were screaming out, kill him with his own gun.
This morning, we're hearing the chilling firsthand account from police officers who were attacked by the rioters storming the U.S. Capitol building. Officer Michael Fanone usually works as a plainclothes narcotics officer, but when he heard the commotion at the Capitol, he put on his uniform and sprang into action. Soon after responding to the scene, the crowd overtook Officer Fanone. He says he found himself on the ground as a group stripped him of his police gear. Officer Fanone says at one point he was considered using his gun, but he knew he didn't have enough ammunition with him. He reports seeing rioters use weapons like batons and tear gas at the scene.
They had pipes and, different metal objects, batons, some of which I think they had taken from law enforcement personnel. They were striking us with those. And then it was just the sheer number of rioters. I mean, the force that was coming from that side, it was difficult to offer any resistance when you're only about 30 guys going up against 15,000. I mean, it was like a real life 300 without the six-pack abs.
Officer Fanone says eventually he tried to appeal to the group's humanity by yelling at them that he has kids. When he did that, a smaller group of people formed a circle around him for protection. He spent a day and a half in the hospital with mild heart attack symptoms, and now he's out on sick leave, but he said he plans to return to duty if anything happens on Inauguration Day.
And the inauguration is just days away, and with threats of violence, thousands of National Guard troops are stationed in Washington, D.C. And yesterday, Vice President Mike Pence made a surprise visit to the troops stationed at the Capitol to thank them for their service. It was the first time he's been to the Capitol complex since January 6th. That's when he was whisked away from the building during the riot. Then later, he returned to oversee the certification of the electoral results. Speaking to the Guardsmen, Pence recalled his time as the governor of the state of Indiana.
A former governor. I'm your vice president, but I used to be a governor, so I got a special place in my heart for our National Guard. Cool. Thank you all for stepping forward to serve your country. Thank you for stepping forward to provide security here in our nation's capital at such an important time in the life of our nation. Have a safe inauguration, and I just wanted to stop out today to say thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for stepping forward, and just God bless you in the days ahead. And it's been my great honor to serve as your vice president.
The vice president is expected to attend the inauguration with his wife.
The FBI is keeping a close eye on social media leading up to Inauguration Day. The agency's director says they're analyzing talk of armed protests at state capitals in particular. The challenging part is determining which comments could be real as a threat and which ones are just online chatter. The FBI says it's communicating with other law enforcement agencies about its findings. Authorities hope online monitoring will help prevent any violent protests like we saw at the U.S. Capitol last week.
Let's go to the West Coast now, where a brush fire is threatening homes out here in central California. Ventura County firefighters are battling this 250-acre fire out in Thousand Oaks, which is about 40 miles from downtown Los Angeles. This hillside brush fire broke out overnight, prompting the evacuation of more than 70 homes so far. Crews say that dry winds and warm temperatures are increasing the risk of the fire spreading. As of this morning, no injuries have been reported.
Back here in the Midwest, Iowa and North Dakota are seeing lots of snow and ice. Blizzard warnings are in effect for western Iowa. Although large snow totals are not expected, wind gusts of more than 50 miles per hour are making it difficult for drivers on the road. In North Dakota, Interstate 94 is snow covered and icy. You can see it right there. That caused a semi to jackknife and set off a chain reaction. Luckily, no one was hurt in that situation, but Todd, they have it way worse than we do right now.
You mentioned the key point there. Just because there's blizzard warnings doesn't mean there has to be a lot of snow. Blizzard warning doesn't mean you're going to get a foot of snow. It has to do with the visibility for a sustained period of time and the wind gusts. It really doesn't matter if it's going to be an inch of snow or if it's going to be 12 inches of snow. So yeah, tough travel off to our west, and we'll start to see some snow chances here as we work our way throughout the afternoon hours. Outside right now, it is quiet, at least in downtown Indianapolis. Some of you, though, are still seeing some rain showers, and I'll show you radar in just a second. But first, I want to show you the temperatures, because this is key, right? Anytime we're dealing with precipitation, we have to make sure we're above freezing for the rain showers, and that's where we are this morning. And so there's no threat of any slick spots as far as wintry weather goes for your morning commute. And we'll stay above freezing here through a good chunk of the afternoon hours with just mostly cloudy skies. And then we'll start to see our temperatures fall, and we'll start to see some snow showers develop. And the snow showers that develop this afternoon could be intense enough that they'll overcome the warmer temperatures. You'll see the snow falling, visibilities will be reduced, but it's probably not going to amount to a whole lot in the way of accumulation on the roadways, which is good news. Here's some rain showers still on the far eastern side of the state, from Muncie to Newcastle, Connersville to Richmond. Those are going to exit off into Ohio pretty quickly. They kind of just eclipse the metro area. We'll expand out. Here's the snow with the blizzard warnings across parts of Iowa. This is going to rotate through. It's very slow moving, though, so snow showers are in the forecast today, tomorrow, and also during the day on Sunday. Now, it's not going to be snowing at all times, and there's a lot of dry hours mixed in, but there'll be the potential for snow showers each one of those days. Here they kick in the afternoon hours. I think till the noon hour, we're still going to be in decent shape. But they're going to be very isolated. Some of you go throughout the entire day probably not even seeing a snow shower, while some of you will get some quick bursts of snow that will reduce visibility, maybe put a quick coating on the roadways, and then they'll move off, and maybe you get 1 or 2 rounds of snow shower activities. It's just going to be very hit or miss with this system as it comes through. And then tomorrow, some more snow showers will rotate through, maybe mixing with a little bit of rainfall, as well as temperatures will be hovering right around the freezing point. So what you need to know for your headlines today: look for quick bursts of snow this afternoon, lowered visibility on the roadways. you could be driving and it's just cloudy, and then all of a sudden visibility goes down to next to nothing, and then slick spots obviously going to be an issue. Any snow accumulation should be less than an inch across the area for the day today. Tomorrow and Sunday, some additional minor snow accumulation, but this is not a big storm system for us. And you notice temperatures will be hovering over the weekend, Lauren, right around 32 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's get a check of traffic this morning as you're heading out the door on your Friday. Here's I-69, your 82nd Street in the Castleton area. Everything is quiet and traveling up to speed. I'm not monitoring any crashes or major delays around the interstates here in central Indiana, so that is great news. Stay with us. We'll be back with more news and weather just after the break.
WRTV.
Welcome back. There's a new treat for meat lovers. Sonic Drive-In is joining forces with Slim Jim. The companies have created a new meat stick. It's called the Sonic Chili Cheese Coney Flavored Slim Jim. The new product has the taste of Sonic's famous chili cheese dog and 11 grams of protein per stick. As of now, it will be available in just one size. That's the Slim's biggest size, the Jim's monster size. Slim Jim monster size. Woo, that's a big one. And if you want to try it, they're available now at retailers nationwide. Todd, I'm not a huge Slim Jim fan, but hey, could be good.
You know, whenever I hear Slim Jim, you know what I think of? And you might not know this. Macho Man Randy Savage. Remember him, the wrestler? And he's like, oh, yeah, step into a Slim Jim.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll pass. I'll find some other things on the shelf.
Yeah.
All right, outside right now, we have a big area of low pressure that's slowly moving through the area. And this is going to bring some snow showers to our area, not only today, but over the next couple days. The accumulation is going to be very light, but I'm more concerned about the potential for visibility issues on the roadways as some of these snow showers rotate through. Any accumulation generally an inch or less, but just know they are possible the next couple days, and then more rain and snow showers possible next Tuesday as another storm system heads our way. The time now is 4:57. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV.